And I gave an example as to how living in the countries which have its own civilization, we are facing with a new problem. The problem of conformity, the problem of conceding, the problem of acquiescence, the problem of reconciliation with a type of civilization which is diametrically opposed to our religion. Yet it is a civilization. And in such a surrounding and environment, we are out to see that our identity as far as our religion was concerned is saved. I might sound a prophet of doom if I say this, but I say this with all conviction, that after having travelled beyond London to places in Midlands and Yorkshire and Lancashire, I have seen places where it is difficult to believe that the young people, their young men and women, are not only a non-practicing bulk, but they have already started even disowning Islam. They are children of Shia Isnashri families. When you talk to them, they talk to you in terms of a non-Muslim. And when they join Muharram or Eid or anything, their position is that of a detached spectator. The family is celebrating, they are also attired in good clothes, but they are least interested. The golden earring is in there. The hair has already overgrown. The dress is that of a rebel, a rebellion against society, against established values. And the look on his face is that of a detached spectator who wants to ridicule your customs, your beliefs, but because he is under pressure from his parents and his immediate society, he is silent. Given a time, one day he will speak. How did I come to know this? Because I ventured to talk to them, to win them over, so that they could confide in me. And when they opened up their hearts, they spoke up what they believed. Normally when they see any person who is older or an alim, they try to run away from his shadow as far as they can. This is what is happening in Lancashire, in Yorkshire, in Midlands, and in parts of England where we live. London. So while we are trying our level best, the co-workers in this field have told me repeatedly that, brother, we have already lost this generation. Let us now try to work for the next one. This generation is already out of hand. Now that is a very sorrowful picture. Because if you have a son who is already 18 or between 18 and 30, 25, and if you tell me that he is lost, but you are only trying to save his son or his daughter, who is either already born or might be born soon, then we are dealing with a gap which is going to be a very dangerous gap. Why? Because while we kept silent, and I say this in presence of Maulana Sayyid Shabiul Hassan, Hafadahullah, who is here, and I've seen Aghay Kirmani, who is here, I take their names because, and Mulla Fidaus and Khaki, I take their names because they are like me who sit on mimbar. Some of them are more educated than I am, no doubt, but they sit on mimbar. We from mimbar have not been able to tell them even the fundamentals to them, nor have we been able to communicate with them. And the result was that the media has communicated with them. Whatever they wanted to convey, they have conveyed. And the media is not interested in conveying or sending the message of Christianity, because we haven't understood that there is a difference in Islamic civilization and the other civilization. They are not interested in proselytizing, in converting people. They want you to understand only one thing, that you may not become Christian, but you must not remain a Muslim. That is the secret, and that is the idea. Now, from the mimbar we have failed. When a person fails from the mimbar, he fails in the field also, does not want to talk, does not want to meet with the young people, or has no time for it. Young man who comes to mimbar or comes here to listen to this majlis, irrespective of the language used, comes to a program which is a monologue. I speak and you hear. While the urgent need has been always of a program based on dialogue, where there is an opportunity for someone to stand up and say, but Mr. So-and-so, will you explain further? So there has got to be a forum in which young people could communicate with the speaker and try to find more and express the objection. That is not there. Contrary to that, the campus in a university, the colleges, the friends, the schoolmates, the teachers, and the media has allowed a lot of free hand, and therefore the mind is subjected to that influence. And when I say this, I don't say this only for Shia's Nashri school. I say this for all Muslims, because whether you are a Shia Nashri or a Ghair Shia Nashri Muslim, you are a Muslim and your faith in Islam is at stake at the moment. That means in those fundamentals which are Tawheed, Nubuwwat and Qiyamah, where Sunni and Shia are all united. We believe in one God, we believe in the prophets, and we believe on the Day of Judgment. There and Quran and Majid, there no Muslim can dispute with his fellow Muslim. So life has become what we call in English a dichotomy. We don't live what we believe. And looking at life, it was like this, like when we were young in Gujarati, we used to study that one day two villagers, villagers are simple people. We call them Mr. Simpletons. They entered a city and they found one big shield which had been erected in memory of some martyr. One part of the shield was golden, another part was made out of silver. One friend stood here, the other stood this side, and they were communicating to each other, and this man from this side said, "Look at this beautiful golden shield." And the friend from that side said, "It seems you are drunk today. Gold looks like silver to you. It is actually silver and not golden." Now the fellow answered with the same abusive language, and this reciprocates with the same abuses till they came to fists, started quarreling and fighting. And one elderly gentleman passed from there and said, "Why do you fight?" He said, "Because this man cannot see that this is made of silver." And the other man said, "Look, he still insists, I know it is made of gold." And The old man went round and came back and said, there was no need for you to fight. It only took few seconds to come and look at the other side. You would have found that the shield has two sides. The shield has two sides. You look at one side and you ignore the other. Similar anecdote has been related by Maulana Rum in his Masnavi, where he talks of 4 blind people put into a room to inspect and tell by touch at what is an elephant. A huge elephant was there. All 4 were blind, and one just came to the trunk and said, well, it's very easy. An elephant is a long pipe. But the other fellow was at the feet. He said, no, it doesn't look like a pipe. An elephant is just a big pillar. And the third one was at the tail. He said, what pillar and what tube you are talking about? It is just a small brush. And the fellow who was standing near the ear, he said, it is neither a pillar nor the brush. It is a big fan, good enough for someone to be relieved in severe heat. Maulana Rum does not talk of blind people. He talks of people in the dark room. Because he talks of the people in the dark room, therefore the solution he gives is, he says, if they had a small candle in hand, they would have been able to see as to what it was. Life in Islam is totally different from life as viewed by the Western civilization. That is where we have got to first come to the roots, and once we come to the diagnosis of the roots, the problem will inshallah be solved. In Islam, when we say that it is a complete code of life, we mean that life is not separated from religious beliefs. You will find our fiqh governing all parts and all aspects of life, which you will not find in Christianity, which is the principal so-called religion of this country. And any Christian will agree, Christianity at most promises you a good life here in after, entering the heaven, the gates of paradise. It talks about renunciation of the pleasures of this life. It sometimes leads you to monasteries and monkhood. It talks of justice beyond, not justice on earth. Because Bible does not give law. If you look at Bible, there are no laws. Laws are in Torah of Jews, not in Testament of Christianity. But if you come to Islam, there are laws. Laws governing our businesses, laws governing our marriages, family laws, social laws, educational laws. There are laws everywhere. To an extent that there are simple laws like how to enter the washroom and how to come out, how to use the water for taharat in bathroom and washroom, and how to get oneself clean in the washroom and toilets, and how to behave in public places like that, so that you cause least inconvenience to the next user of the same place. Normally we don't talk of toilets and washrooms in public, but Sharia talks about it. And even usual behavior of a loving nature of parents, when father enters into the house with a smile hanging on his lips and with a small present which he gives to his daughter first and to his son next, even that the Prophet has mentioned as an act of thawab, an act of worship. To visit the sick, to shake hands with love and not with hypocrisy, to talk to each other, to wish salamun alaykum and to greet, everything has been enlisted, which normally you will not find. This is the reason why the Western civilization is not able to grasp. I'll give an example. When there was the revolution, Islamic revolution in Iran, and when Ayatollah Khomeini rahmatullah alayh entered victoriously on the soil of Iran. They tried to find so many loopholes in the personality of our Khomeini. They could not. At the most, what they wrote was, he eats simple fruits. Now that is his diet. This is the way how he prays. His daughter died, but he never felt ill about it. This is what they wrote in Newsweek. That when his daughter died, he did not even weep. He didn't cry. He didn't mourn. He said, Allah is the giver and Allah has taken away. These are the things which they spoke. But from America, a book was published, which is still there, and many have got it, I have got it. Supposed to be a mockery of Ayatollah Khomeini. The translation is such, which gives you an idea that the person who translated this is trying to ridicule Sharia. And the foreword says that these are the dirty things Khomeini has written. Now what is it? It was actually a risala of taqleed, where Ayatollah Khomeini has given a fatwa as to how to wash oneself, how to do janabat ghusl, ladies in periods, how will they clean themselves, ladies, what is the difference between hayd, istihada and nifas, when does janabat ghusl become wajib, what is the extent till then you have gone that janabat ghusl will become wajib, what is the meaning of fast, how does fast become batil. Now these things involve so many references to things which ordinary people think is dirty. But this is Sharia, which is governing my way of life. Now, no one was there to tell the translator that this is law. Please try to understand in that context. They came to understand this after 5 years. By that time the book was already out, and I am holding a copy in my own library where this is still lying there. And I was laughing all the way to say, what a poor and sick mentality is there. But no, they are not to be blamed. They don't have any laws in their own religion. We are a religion of law. That means justice and good behavior and conduct promised on earth, conjoined with happiness hereinafter. That is the meaning of Islam. So when the view changed, what happened? Two things happened, and I won't take more of your time tonight. One, social life separated from religion. Over. Life became two. One is Sunday church. Another is day-to-day life. In church, Jesus Christ and God reigned. Beyond that, God could not enter. It was not his province. It was just like we Muslims in certain countries have adopted the same attitude, that Jummah to Jummah. We come to Jummah prayers and then inshallah next Jummah. Between Jummahs, a Muslim is not to be seen. So, in the mosque, in the Imam Bara, God is there, Imam is there. Outside, in my business, is he there or is he not there? Is the question. They created a dichotomy so that society was something different. If standing in a social gathering, you talked about religion, then you become an odd man out. You are a taboo, or you are a person suffering from an irremediable obsession. This is what they say. Church, not here. And they want it as short as possible. Huh? There was a padri who was cutting grass in his garden, and someone passed. Now this padri, this Wicca, was well known for starting his majlis anywhere. There are people and people. Wherever you met him, he started his sermon. So people used to run away from him. Not only in the church, he used to tell anything. Every time that we meet him, how are you this morning, he started his sermon. An elderly lady passed, and she saw the Wicca trimming his garden and cutting the grass. So she said, hello, Vika, good morning. Nice work you are doing. And the week had started. He said, do you know, madam, every blade of grass is a sermon of God. He began with that. On every blade of grass, God has written His word. And the lady said, that is why you are cutting it short. That is why you are cutting it short. And she went off. They don't want to listen to this. If a marriage comes in, and there is an occasion of marriage, you cannot tell them that this is haram and this is halal, because there is no question there. While in our case, it is a different thing altogether. It is a complete life governed by Sharia. And I have always given this example. I have given this example nearly hundreds of times. But I wonder if I have said here on a Friday. But I have said it everywhere I have been. That there was a time in East Africa when we used to come to London. When we came back, we used to throw our weight around with broad necktie, and sombreros. And if anyone asked us, London return, it was more sacred than going to Hajj. And people thought whoever came to London was educated, the rest were all buffoons. Now, whether they spent in London 10 years studying or passing their good time, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew. But they came back as we in England, always, boasting of this civilization. I remember a friend of mine had sent his son to London to study without knowing what he was going to study. And this is, of course, just because the father asked him, when you come back, how much money will I start earning through you so that I can pay back the loan and also become rich? So he said, Father, don't worry. Once I come back, I'll pay back the loan and... But what are you going to study? Nobody knew. This is not new. It was true in East Africa when fathers used to come to school and say, Master Sahab, maro chokro kai class ma chhe. It used to happen. The boy lived in England for 4 years, and he had promised his father he was going to study medicine. When he came here, he started studying something else, without informing his father. But then he wrote one day to his father, Papa, I'm coming back. So you are there in East Africa, in Nairobi, I remember. He told me, shall we go to the airport to receive my son after 4 years? So when we went to the airport, we saw a young gentleman who came down with luxurious beard and with overgrown hair. And as he came, his father could not recognize him. And there was violin hanging from his neck. And as he came there, the old man looked at him after 4 years, and he told me in my ears, the voice still rings, says, Mulla Sahab, 1,00,000 rupees mein humne ek naya bandar kharida. That in 100,000 rupees we have now bought one new monkey. Look at it. Went home, and the boy comes from England, doesn't want any nonsense. Comes from London. You know where London is. At that time, father one day ventured to ask him, said, son, may I ask you if I can now open an office for you? He said, no office. A dispensary? He said, no dispensary. But after all, there must be some place where you will work. Oh, he said, no. Papa, you don't know what I have done. He said, but what have you done then? Have you become a doctor? No. I may open a surgery for you. Have you become paramedic? I may open a shop for you. Have you become a solicitor? I may open an office for you. He said, no, nothing of that sort. What I have studied is much higher than that. All right, have you become a professor? I may ask for a job in the school for you, where you will deliver lectures. He said, no, much higher than that. But what have you become? He said, Father, just imagine a thing which I have been able to attain after labor of 4 years. How can I tell you within 1 hour? I will tell you when the right time comes. The father was waiting for Mapesa. And the boy was in the clouds. It was altogether a different world. Yeah? And one day, early in the morning, while they were having a breakfast, there was a boiled egg on a plate, and the son said, Papa, Papa, come here. Now is the right time. I can today at least tell you as to what have I studied. Father was so elated and so happy. Today I will know what degree this man holds. And he sat down and said, yes. He said, Papa, tell me how many eggs are there. Oh my God. The hinges were loose somewhere. But elderly people have got to put up with so many things in life. One of those things, as they say. And he said, my dear son, it is one. I mean, it is just an egg, one egg. I said, this is where the difference is, Papa. In London for 4 years, I have studied that this is not one, but these are two. So the father was convinced, beyond any shade of doubt, that this man must go to mental asylum. It is a lost case. So he said, but son, this is one. He said, yes, father, this is the difference. It is two. Now I'll prove to you. And he started his lesson in philosophy. Look, father, everything which exists is just a manifestation and dream. The original is the universal, which is in the mind, the idea. And the idea is the egg. Whatever exists outside is the exterior. The real is inside. Man is an image, is an ideal, is a universal. We are all members of that universal. We are just exterior manifestation. And as he went on the way I'm going on now, the father started getting somersaults one after the other into an area in which he had never been, and he said, bus, enough is now. Enough. I have understood thoroughly well. Now you do one thing. I will eat the one that is here, you will eat the one which is in the mind. Because what is the use of that which does not even fill a hungry stomach? If you have studied that, so you will eat the one which is in the mind, which you say is the real one. I am going to eat the unreal one. Leave me alone. If religion, if aqaid, if faith is just going to be living in an imaginary life and not applicable to my day-to-day life, if it is not going to serve me in my life, then that religion is just a label. It has got to govern. And this is why there is a difference. When a Christian comes to know that a Muslim cannot pass his time, noon time, without praying, a young boy says, headmaster or headmistress, sir, madam, I would like to pray. She is just unable to understand why. This is no church. This is no mosque. But to be able to understand this, they have got to understand that there is a timetable and that there are laws which governs. And that religion in Islam is a part of life. When we tell them that my son is fasting, my daughter is fasting, my son is fasting, 11 years, 8 years old, they think that we are starving them, not understanding that this is a spiritual exercise. They cannot understand because it is beyond them. And because of all this, when we talk to them about Islam, it is a strange world. Now, they are trying to convince our youths. This is the tragedy. That look, in Punjabi they used to say, Dil changa to jag changa. If the heart is good, the whole world is good. So they are trying to convince our young men, keep a good heart and you are a good man. Be humanitarian and you are a good man. And they are trying to teach those common values and ibadat and acts of worship and even a realization that I am in any way obliged to my Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gradually being eradicated. When I will come to the values, you will find some of the shocking revelations that I will make as to how the values have been defeated one after the other. But I am talking of how they work on the minds. that be good, that's all, be good. While we say that yes, be good, but be good according to whose direction? This is the crucial question. Be good, but be good according to which standard? That is the crucial question. And the thinkers of this country, right from Mr. George, Bertrand Russell, Jung and Adler, I'm talking of those of Germany and here, Jung, Adler, Joad, and even Bertrand Russell, till he died, could not tell the world what was good and what was evil. Because they said it varies with culture and varies with the people. Now the answer is that there is no standard, no yardstick. Well, we say that there is. And there has to be for all, whether white, black, brown or yellow. But only he can make a common yardstick for humanity who does not belong to any of them. He is the creator himself. That is the difference. Because if I belong, then I am an interested party. I am a biased party. I am a governed, influenced party. But he who is above and who is the creator, he knows as to what have I created and what is good, good for all. And that is what Sharia is. Now when an Englishman who has been a Christian becomes a Muslim, and if he becomes a practicing Muslim, a Muslim who prays 5 times a day, a Muslim who fasts Ramadan, he was a British, he was a Christian, sit with him, sit with a Muslim who has been converted and who is a genuine, sincere Muslim, and sit with him and ask him only one day, sir, how do you feel now that you have accepted Islam and you have understood Islam and you are practicing Islam, and how do you compare with the life that you led when you were a Christian? I remember when I went to East Anglia, Norwich, with marhum Dr. Asaria, may Allah grant him a chosen place with Ma'asumin Salamullah alayhi. We went there and we sat with Asadullah, who is still alive, a British convert. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and he is my witness, that it was not possible to even believe that this man was a convert, that he was a British. With his dress changed and with his tasbih in his hand, and every 10 minutes naturally saying La ilaha illallah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, from a British born. And when we came there without notice, and he said, you will be my guest and you will sleep in this barn, his wife brought food which had been cooked for one man or perhaps one man and 2 children. He did not tell his family that we have 2 guests, but his wife brought a plate with 3 spoons, knowing that there are guests, and we ate. And the man did not feel any scruple that I have got a guest, therefore I am inconvenienced. He said, Tafaddal, eat whatever Allah has destined for us to eat. And we ate. And we did not feel hungry that day. We ate, and after having eaten, he brought coffee, black coffee, and then marhum Dr. Asari asked one very pertinent question, a natural question from any Muslim. He said, Mr. Asadullah, may I ask you why you became a Muslim? And the answer he gave was, my dear doctor, may I ask you why you are still a Muslim? So Dr. Asaria said, marhum, that I am still a Muslim because I believe that the path I am upon is the right path. He said, do you sincerely believe, or are you continuing with the family tradition? Because your father was a Muslim, therefore you are Muslim. Doctor said, no, I have studied it and I believe in it. So then Asadullah said, whoever is in his sanity saved and complete cannot accept any religion but Islam. One has got to be dispassionate, impartial, and sane to understand that there is no path but Islam, because it governs my life. It speaks to me about the world here, and it also speaks to me about the world hereafter. How often have I told my young children, my young brothers and sisters, that if I were to tell you, and I say that for the last, mashallah, 30 years I have been driving this car, I haven't even committed one traffic offense. Some of the friends come and say, Mullah Sahab, evu kai ho jo taviz lakhi apo. Or they come and look into my car if I have got a taviz upon the steering rod. But I said, no, I haven't committed one accident or one traveling offense. Not one. I have never been booked. So somebody stands up and says, Mullah Sahab, how do you do it? Just tell us a secret. I said, because I don't know how to drive. As simple as that. So the answer will be, Master, before you take pride in that, go and have the driving lessons, and then buy a small car, bring it onto the road, drive. After having driven for some time, if you really remained so sober and in control all the time that you did not commit any error or offense, then you can say that it's a matter of some achievement. But a man who has driven, no. If you were to live as a monk, if you renounce the society and go and sit at the foothill of Himalaya, or in a room from where you don't come out, or you don't even counteract or react or interact with people and society, if you are all alone as a hermit and sadhu, and then you say that I have done no ghibat, I have wronged no one, there is no beauty in it. The beauty is what Islam says: enter the mainstream of society and then prove yourself. So there's a difference. There is a marriage in your family, inshallah ta'ala. There is a law there. You will not do anything haram there. There will be no music. There will be no musical party even after nikah. Not even before. There will be no dancing. There will be no wine drinking. There will be no mixed gathering where there is no hijab. Haram, mutlaq. Now, if you don't want to follow it, that means we are not following Islam. It's as simple as that. I want to open a business. Don't sell anything that is haram. That's all. Anything haram that you sell, the money which trickles into your coffer is haram. And the food that you will give to yourself and your children will be the food of haram. And upon that flesh which grows with haram money, Shariat does not work, and the message of Allah does not have any effect. You want to become a trustee? It's a good level, eh? Shariat says, well, if you are a trustee, then you are responsible of the trust, and for the trust, and to the trust. And if the trust, in any way, trust of a yatim, trustee of a beva, trustee of a family, trustee of someone who has made you a trustee after his death, on his will, and you accepted it, you are responsible for the welfare of the beneficiaries. Either accept it or reject, but once accepted, you are responsible till the day of Qiyamah. Trustee.